Let's make this clear, all right? Just because you buy somebody dinner doesn't mean they've consented to anything. You just bought them dinner. If they eat it, that's all they've consented to. How can you make sure that a person consents to sexual activity? Well, so I'm leaving Boulder on my very first Bumble date. Should be fun. Heading down to Denver. Gonna go to a sushi place with a woman that I met on Bumble. Oh, and by the way, I don't have a mustache anymore. Oh, mustache, you were fun. Goodbye. Back to normal. Maybe before a Bumble date, it'd be a good time to review consent. Let's make this clear, all right? Just because you buy somebody dinner doesn't mean they've consented to anything. You just bought them dinner. If they eat it, that's all they've consented to. How can you make sure that a person consents to sexual activity? Well, you can ask them and find out if they say yes or no, and listen to what they have to say. And if they say yes, then great. But it's only limited to what you specifically asked them. So if you say, "Can I kiss you?" well, then you can kiss them. Doesn't necessarily mean you can kiss them on the butt. So if you don't ask, how can you determine whether somebody is consenting? Consent has to do with how the person responds to you, so keep an eye on it. A good thing to do is to kiss them and see if they kiss you back. If they're touching you and you're touching them, and their touch is like your touch, so if you are stroking their buttocks and they stroke your buttocks, then great, wonderful. Everybody should be in the good spot. If you put your hand on their crotch area over the clothes and they put their hand on yours, well, that'd be good too. If you're moving your hand from their knee towards their crotch area and they freeze, stop you, or put their hand, or say no, or stop kissing you, then you got a problem. It's not an issue of whether you get to have sex or not. It's an issue of whether you get to have consensual sex and whether the two people are both going to enjoy it. I mean, if both of you enjoy it, then there's a good chance you're going to do it again. Don't you want that? So the idea is to keep an eye on them and ask questions from time to time and say, is this okay? And if you're going to try something a little bit freaky, maybe you should ask. And if you want to slap somebody on the butt, maybe you slap them not so hard the first time and say, what do you think? And they might say harder, or no, I don't like that. Consent shouldn't be that difficult. Consent should be something that we all can understand. But sometimes it gets a little sideways. And what happens usually in these situations is somebody's intoxicated, or maybe both people are intoxicated. And when you're intoxicated, it's a little bit harder to figure out whether either one of you is consenting and what is going on, and whether they truly mean it or not. So again, keep an eye on your partner. Look at them. If their eyes are closed, if their breathing is slight, they are not in a position where they can consent. If they're responding to you, then maybe so. But if their eyes are closed and they're not opening at all, that's something you need to take a stop and say, hey, wake up, what are you doing? Or how are you doing? And get a response. But from time to time, we go through all of the issues of consent. And what happens? The next day, people wake up and they don't like what happened. This may not happen very often, but how many times does it have to happen to you in order for you to be in my office? Once. So, be nice to people. Ask their phone number. Make sure you know their name. Tell them it was fun. Tell them that that you enjoyed yourself and that it was great. Ask them if they did too. See if they want to see you again later. Maybe send them something saying thanks. From time to time, people walk away from a sexual experience and they feel so bad about how they were treated at the very end that it flavors or changes the way they think about the rest of the situation. And that can be very dangerous. It might not happen very often, but it only has to happen once for you. If you can't be nice to somebody the next day, maybe you shouldn't be fooling around with them to begin with. There's a couple witnesses that disagree with each other, and well, this will go to show that my client was not doing what they said that they were saying they did. He is going to be an exhibit in my next trial so that we can, that's a lot of what we do.